Okay, so today I have something very special. We're going to take a stroll back to memory lane through the 1990 Lego catalog. Now, this is kind of the beginning of some of the fantasy elements introduced into Lego sets. Before this, most of them were pretty straightforward. It's kind of the end of the 80s. They're more the classic designs. And this is kind of the beginning, obviously, of the 90s. And love this front design. It looks like they're kind of at like a ruins or something, and they're looking out to the Black Monarch Castle there. And a town's train conductor, I guess, and a forceman, and Captain Redbeard and Mtron guy are scared by the ghost in this front cover of 1990 Lego catalog from 1990. Super cool. So let's dive in. Mine's a little bit rough on the front, but you know, it's good enough to be able to maybe see a few things. So here there's imagination. They're describing how to use your imagination, the different ages. I love that pirate ship there. The King's Mountain Fortress. There's Mtron stuff. And kind of kids get older as the pictures go further along the lines of different sets. Here's some Duplo sets. There's basic. Just kind of like a blank palette. What I wish they would have done is doing those in specific colors rather than just multiple colors. That would have been neat. And so here's entering the land of action. That's kind of cut off there on the top. Not sure why. Is it misprint or something? Town, pirate, castle, and space system. 66 different sets. And they would always advertise and tout alternate builds. I never could figure those out. I don't know how you would figure them out just by one picture. They were really hard to look at and figure out. So here's kind of the new big set of that year for town. Got a big airport set. And then it's showing you the NASA space shuttle for the first time. That's really cool. Canada arm. That's interesting. And that's a cool display for town. It's like a port city. Got the airport there. Got like a gas service station. Maybe, no, parking garage. And the space shuttle for the US space shuttle for the first time. That's pretty cool. You know, Lego being a Denmark company, and European, it's interesting how much things were American in their releases. Or maybe this is just the American catalog and what we got in the stores. I don't know. I'd be interested to know if you guys have any Lego catalogs from other countries, because definitely the castle displays are different and the pictures are all different, and they even called the sets different names too. But that would be cool to dive into and to take a look at that. So definitely we'll look at that in the future. I like how they just threw down a bunch of 1x1 plates for rocks. That's part of the display. That was kind of a lazy build. But I like it. You know, it's also showing you what you could do, like for instance with all these base plates in the background. Just stick them together, throw a few trees in there. That's pretty easy to do. But very cool space shuttle. That's awesome for the first time. And here are all the sets for that year. You got You got the new airport, a few planes, stunt copter, space shuttle, of course, is new. Metro Park service tower, that's cool. Emergency treatment center still around. Bunch of stuff. Pursuit Squad had that one. Didn't collect a whole lot of town from this era and before. We were into mostly, you know, Castle and Space, and then Pirates when it came out. There is the scene here with the raceway, Victory Lap Raceway. I like those the parking garage and like a car wash pieces there for the first time. That's cool. On to the next line of stuff here. 1990. 1989, of course, was the release of Pirates for the first time. Hoist the sails, Captain Redbay's renegades have sailed from Shipwreck Island. Yeah, so not much to say about them in the lore and the story behind Pirates, but obviously use your imagination. We still have Black Seas Barracuda, of course. This is just after it's been released the previous year. And then a couple of smaller sets. We had all of these, except for Eldorado Fortress. I never had that one growing up. So we'll do some videos about these for sure. I don't know if I've hinted at that in other videos, but eventually I will. So love the pirate sets. Not a elaborate display. This kind of reminds me of those glass tables that are kind of wavy. Usually people would have them on their patio. This material, this surface for the water. So I'm not saying it's lazy. It's just, you know, there wasn't much in this picture. So I'd be interested to go and find some other display pictures from that year or years around then. See what those are like from other countries' catalogs. That'd be cool. But I love how they did this with ropes. I don't really know. Maybe they tied it around his hand, or I don't know. It's kind of underneath him. That's cool. That's a cool idea. Twisting it underneath him. It's kind of hard to see on the camera. That'd be a cool display. But yeah, I've always wondered how they did that as a kid. Moving on to, of course, my favorite faction, and that's Legoland Castle. So the new thing that year is really, there are definitely some great sets. It was a good year. There's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 new sets. That's actually quite substantial for one faction, or for one line of Lego sets. Black Monarch's Castle's super cool. Never had that one, but you know, have all the others. And the big thing that year was a glowing ghost minifigure, which was included in Black Monarch's Ghost and the King's Mountain Fortress. Ghost included, and it tells you. Okay. I guess if you're just judging by the picture and trying to figure out which one had the new ghost, then it told you that. But, so yeah, the new things that year, Night Stronghold, Black Monarch's Ghost. You could combine those together, or those could go into this one and combine that. So I'm going to definitely do that in my display and update that sometime. I'm not really sure how to fit it in, but yeah, I'm going to do a video on that. But that would have been pretty cool to do. So by itself, you know, that one's decent. It's fun by itself. You get two types of knights, and you know, it's a great gift. Not too expensive, but ideally you'd combine all those, and that would be ultra fortification. Nice Challenge is really cool, colorful, very pretty set. Castle minifigures, had several of those growing up. Oop, there we go. And so we actually didn't have Black Falcons growing up, because we were, you know, late 80s and early 90s. And by this time they had phased out Black Falcons altogether. And so usually our only Black Falcon minifigures came from this set. Or the Sea Serpent. For some reason, they threw him back in for 1992's Black Knight's Sea Serpent. Kind of weird, but awesome at the same time. Kings Mountain Fortress, awesome design, love it. Talk about that one soon. And then this is a great set, the Forceman's Crossing. Definitely a really valuable set if you have it. The lady with the new lady Forceman figure. And that's probably one of the most valuable Forceman minifigures. Still hung on to Forceman's River Fortress. That's my favorite design for Forceman sets for sure. And this is pretty cool picture here. And there's, of course, the glowing ghost minifigure on display fully. It's a little bit of a precarious setup for the Black Monarch's castle there. It's kind of hinging on a cliffside there. So a little lazier in the display detail, but that's fine. This kind of display terrain and material reminds me of, that looks really cool under the light. It looks like real dirt. But it kind of reminds me of what, you know, old grandpas would do with like train sets, and then they would use that styrofoam and those fake little trees and plants and stuff, and it kind of reminds me of that material. But there we go. That's about it for that castle that year. Of course, that's a good spread. Here's the space with the introduction of Mtron. 1990 Mtron with magnetized pieces and little magnets. Introducing powerful magnets and fluorescent windshields on most Mtron models. Well, they had fluorescent windshields for quite a while. The previous sets. 7 new Mtron sets. So this is pretty cool. Like, you know, the introduction was, hey, they're Mtron. They're here to kind of help build or repair or do construction, or obviously dig for, you know, ores in the planets or asteroids to help. But yeah, here they're repairing that Futron train set, monorail set. They have these big giant wheels. It's crazy. So here are all the sets. Mtron, of course. Here's the new Mtron. It's great. This is definitely my brother's favorite, and you know his name begins with an M. So I don't know if it had to do with his own name is why he loved it, but Mtron's definitely cool. The red and the yellow is pretty striking. Love that. Love the colors and the design of those. The Cell Recon Voyager ship is pretty cool looking. And of course, this was huge. We had all these. We didn't have the magnetizer. But yeah, Mtron. The look of Mtron's probably. I mean, Blacktron's my favorite, but probably Mtron's the second for me. And then here's the first iteration of Space Police. Or could be wrong. Could be the second. There were several Space Police and several Blacktrons. It's a little bit confusing, but we'll get into that as well in the future. These are pretty cool. This is the only jail cell type set that Space Police ever had. So I think that's pretty cool. I don't know why they never did another one, but. And then of course Futron, which was definitely an 80s thing. And this monorail system is gigantic, or it has a lot of these pieces. It's worth a whole lot of money. Blacktron, they had one little alienator there with that kind of more 80s looking logo. And we had a bunch of these space minifigures as well. I never had Futron sets, to be honest. And so the only minifigures that we had from those were in this minifigure set. This value pack thing is pretty cool. It's got a little Blacktron ship, which is kind of dinky. But then this is actually a great design. This little soil scooper, it's called. And then, of course, the Crusader cart. So that's a cool little multi-set pack there. That's nice. We'll kind of quickly move on. We've got boats. These boats are great. This cargo carrier is gigantic. That's huge. It's a huge boat. And I really like this train. It's kind of a throwback to older trains. I've been really tempted by building and setting up that one, but I just don't have room right now. But that's a really cool train. Love that one. Give me a shout out if you have that one. And so there's the evidence. Like, if you can't find a train or boat set at your favorite store, which was this was the case most of the time, because we lived in smaller towns and we just didn't have the stores. They were smaller, like Kmart's and stuff, and they didn't carry all the sets, or they carried low stock of like the new sets or sets we were kind of like looking for. And so see, there's a shop at home service there, page 24. That's usually what would end up having to happen. This is a great truck that was in the catalog for a long time, for a good many years actually. It's just a great design, this semi truck with the helicopter. That's great. I mean, that's a display piece there. Even today, it still holds up for this model team set. Oop. And then you got Technique, of course. You know, just we weren't really into this, and still I'm not into it. But, you know, no offense to you who are. You can join the Builders Club. It was before the Lego Maniac Club. You get a birthday gift. I don't think it was a set. You do get a free Lego set. It's tiny, probably. You get the magazine. Here's the accessories. Base plates, idea book. I've seen videos and seen people go through this idea book. I would love to get this and go through it. 48 pages. So yeah, that would be cool. And then here's parts and accessories you can get. Minifigures, of course. Pretty cheap on the parts, pretty cheap on the minifigures. $6. $1 per minifigure. Nowadays, minifigures are probably the most valuable if they're, not broken or cracked. Probably the most valuable pieces of every set, really. Because they would, Lego would reuse heads, but then, a lot of minifigures were just only used for one set, or two sets, or a couple years, and then that's it. So, yeah. So there's some accessories, space minifigures, pirate minifigures. We had all those, a lot of those. People would, if they didn't know what to get us for Christmas, they would just grab a little pack of minifigures, because you could use them to tag along any set. There's a shop at home order form. There you call, or you can mail that in, or mail a check, or whatever. Redline Racer. This is pretty reasonable, pretty cheap. The thing I was noticing was these, from year to year, the base plates aren't exactly super cheap. Obviously if they're brand new, but yeah, you can get like a 3 or 4 pack of base plates nowadays for around the same price per base plate. If you buy the new one, that's a handful at once. So yeah, I don't know if it's there was inflation or what, but yeah, that's always seemed kind of odd to me. And this seems kind of expensive, this train station. Let me know if you have that one. That one looks cool. It's got like a chef. It's hard to see this little picture, but yeah, that's really neat. But that seems a little expensive. But so there you go, 1990. That was a great year. Definitely my favorite things from 1990 are, of course, Mtron. That's great. Those are great sets. King's Mountain Fortress. Those were great castle, great space years. Not a whole lot of pirates, but they just came out with pirates and we're trying to build the momentum, of course. And of course you get the space shuttle and this airport in town. That's great stuff. So there you go. Such a good year. Probably not my favorite year, but definitely 1990 through, 1989, 1990 through 1993. Those were our years for growing up with Lego as kids. So there you go. 1990 catalog from Lego.